Good afternoon and welcome to the Easter Seals Project Action Webinar, Getting from A to B, Connecting Individuals to Transportation Resources in Your Community. All participants will be in a listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity to ask questions during today's presentation. At that time, an operator will give instructions on how to ask your questions. If you should need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touch-tone phone. This conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Christian Braco. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Welcome everybody to today's session. Our discussion today will be on matching transportation resources with customer needs. This session will cover the family of transportation services, including ADA complimentary paratransit, dial-a-ride services, and private, human service, veteran, and medical providers, as well as your voucher networks. You're also going to learn about regional and national initiatives for transportation resource development around mobility management, information and referral networks, and the Veterans Transportation and Community Living Initiative. Following the presentation, we're going to have a moment to ask our presenters some questions and answers, so please be thinking of things that you're curious about throughout the session. Before we begin, I would just like to get a few quick housekeeping things out of the way. The PowerPoint for today's session is available for download. It's on www.projectaction.org, and you can hit the Getting from A to B webinar link. It's there on the home page under Events, and that's in PDF format, and it's available right now. Also, the event is being recorded and transcribed. You can visit our website, www.projectaction.org, in about 30 days, and you'll be able to download a written copy of the transcript, or you can request that by email to webinars@easterseals.com. In addition, we can make either Braille or audio CD copy available to you as well at that same address. If you just email us, webinars@easterseals.com, and provide your postal address, we'll be able to send that right over. Closed captioning is also available for this event. To open the captioning window, please hit Control and F8, or enable it by clicking on the window menu and then select Show Closed Captioning, and it'll pop up right there on your webinar screen. There's also been instructions for that placed into the chat room. Joining us today, we have Carolyn Rader of the Atlanta Regional Commission's Aging and Health Resources Division, and our very own Ken Thompson, who helps connect Project Action callers with transportation resources. I would just like to take a moment to remind everyone that Easter Seals Project Action is a technical assistance center that strives to provide accurate information on the Americans with Disabilities Act. What we provide is technical assistance and not legal advice. In other words, it does not carry the force of law. We aim to provide solutions using the Americans with Disabilities Act and occasionally other federal regulations as a baseline. With that, we'll get started. I'd like to turn the presentation over to Ken.
Hi everybody and welcome. We want to really kind of talk about something that I think I get a lot of calls on every week, and it's the calls about how do I find a ride. A lot of times people call and they say, well, you know, I need to go to a doctor's appointment, but it's over in the large city that's 30 miles away, 40 miles away, and they want to know how do I get there. So, you know, one of the, I guess, challenges we have trying to connect people with rides is trying to figure out what's the best way to do that, and coming up with a process to make sure that we get a ride that meets the needs of the customer. So what I'm going to offer a little bit is maybe some tips on identifying customers' needs. We're going to talk a little bit about the family of transportation options and networks available, and how you kind of might relate that and relay that to customers. And then finally we'll talk about some resources and partnerships. And then Carolyn's going to talk about really some examples locally in the Atlanta region, and then even some national perspectives that they have taken on connecting people to rides. And we hope that this information will be useful to you as you explore finding rides for people, or getting knowledge on resources and how to connect people to rides. So, you know, that how do I get there? It's really been a big question ever since I've worked at Project Action. All right, and what we want to talk about really when we connect people to rides, we want to look at that whole family of transportation options. So, you know, when people call we want to try to explore what's out there for them, but we want to look at the options that meet their needs. And when people call me, at least, they talk about a lot of different things. You know, there's conditions on the rides. Number one, a lot of times people say, is it affordable? That seems to be the number one question, because a lot of people tell me, you know, they don't have money for expensive rides. They say that, you know, they talk to a provider and they said the ride is $60 each way, and they said, I can't afford that. Are there any options out there that's better? And so finding the appropriate ride for people is really, I think, key as far as when we get information from people and then looking for resources to match. So we'll talk a little bit about eligible rides. Are the rides available? Another big point, is it accessible? Some people can ride in sedans or regular cars, but other people may need lift-equipped vehicles or ramp-equipped vehicles or something that can help them get in the vehicle and make that ride. A little interesting point to note, we used to always say there were 63 federal programs that fund transportation, and that was the number we had several years ago. And I used that number up until actually when I was preparing this presentation a couple months ago. I noticed in a GAO report that now the statement is that there are 80 federal programs funding transportation. And the report basically says that there are coordination efforts underway, but the challenges continue. And we know that there are a lot of challenges in coordination, but I think as a nation now we at least are moving in the right direction with dialogue, discussion, and coming up with some good strategies to get rides to people. And it's interesting to note, and this surprises a lot of people, that the largest funder of transportation is not the Federal Transit Administration or Department of Transportation, but it is the Department of Health and Human Services, which has 31 different programs that fund transportation, which is 39% of all the transportation, 39% of transportation costs. So this federal program that we kind of look at, there's the initiative that's tying federal agencies and strategies together. It's called United We Ride. Project Action was around for the beginning of United We Ride and active in coming up with some ideas for it, in support of it and providing feedback to it. But United We Ride is a national effort to coordinate human service transportation, so there are better use of resources and more rides for people. And actually it's a good place if you're just interested in coordination in general. Go to www.unitedweride.gov and start looking around, and you can find some good information on coordination and how federal agencies are working together to provide more rides. So it's a big start from the national level, and it's a way that we can get to the idea of coordinating rides. Does somebody have their speakers on? That sounds like a speaker feedback issue. You might want to turn that off. And anyway, so there's some efforts nationally to get people connected in different ways so that federal money is better used to create more rides for people with less duplication. On the next slide, you see Marion's Ride for a Call. Now, Marion's the sort of pseudonym name that I was using, but when I was putting the presentation together, I actually got a call from a person. I decided to call her Marion. And she was actually a mother who attempted to find a ride for her daughter. But she had some conditions that is very typical to a find a ride or trip request call that we get here. She's already made some attempts to find a ride, but the issue is she really needs to find a ride soon. So there's sort of this immediacy that there's a need. She is a caregiver, meaning that she's a mother whose daughter has a disability and some significant disabilities, but the mother was transporting her daughter to work 30 miles each way, and what was happening was she was getting into work late because of the trip, and she was looking around for some options for rides, and she again was one of those people that found a private person, which was a taxi cab, that could provide the ride, but the cost was way too high for the ride each way, and then distance of 30 miles was also an issue that somehow needed to be resolved. But what we did with this particular case was I went and looked through some resources from the region. I actually called the transit system and a couple other people, and I found out someone who was doing mobility management, who was actually working to help connect people to rides in the area, and got the mother and daughter connected with a resource that actually worked out and found a way that the daughter could get her rides fulfilled. So anyway, like any call, just like Marion, identifying customer needs is a real big part of how you take any call. And I'm talking about this basically through my experience. I take a lot of the find a ride type calls and try to connect people to resources. And what I've learned over time is you really got to spend time with a customer or a caller to find out what are their needs. And when you're looking at the needs, you also want to start thinking about what are all the options that might meet that person's needs. And people have different needs and have different ability to use different transportation options, but you want to get that information up front. So it's great to follow a checklist or a template to assess the needs. So a checklist would have some questions as to, where are they going? Do they need accessible vehicles? Do they use Medicaid? Do they have a disability? Do they qualify for other kinds of programs? Are they a senior? So it's really just kind of a basic checklist, but all that information will help you to assess the need. And then what I've also found when you're talking to customers, that it's important to use local names if you can about providers. I have one listed here, Marta Mobility, that would be the Atlanta area, and Carolyn's from the Atlanta area. When you say paratransit to a lot of people, ADA paratransit, a lot of people say, what is that? A lot of customers or callers will think paratransit is any vehicle that's equipped with a lift. And so paratransit can mean a number of things to a number of people. But if you're in the Atlanta area and you say Marta Mobility, people generally know what you're talking about. In other areas, it might be a program called Access or Access Mobility. In Georgia, since we're looking in the Atlanta area and will be one of our examples, a lot of people say, well, I'm in the Georgia NET, and the NET is the Non-Emergency Transportation Program in Georgia through a broker system. And then in other areas, you have sometimes funny and unique names, and the one that I always thought was clever from my own state is Van Gogh, which is in Charles County, Maryland, which is more of a dial ride system. But using these local names really helps you establish a person's knowledge, or even if they're qualified for certain types of options. One thing that sometimes I think gets forgotten in discussion is using the fixed route. So the regular bus or train, is that an option? Sometimes I've talked to people and I said, well, where you live, you're near a regular bus route, and they go, oh, I can use that? People are sometimes amazed that they can use the regular bus. They've never used it before. And so what I do in that case, and they say, yeah, they want to try it, I would connect them with their local transit agency and see, even the transit agency could help them use the regular bus. Sometimes people have what's called a dial-a-ride system, and that means different things from community to community. Some communities, a dial-a-ride is actually the ADA paratransit system. In other communities, a dial-a-ride is a separate system reserved for either seniors or people with disabilities, where people can call for a ride. And then in other communities, the ADA paratransit and dial-a-ride are actually blended systems, and they serve both populations, and that can cause confusion as you talk about different types of services. And options that a lot of times people don't think they qualify for too is like human service type transportation. A lot of times it's the senior population, or a lot of times it's disability population, but there are sometimes human service agencies that will, for a small fee, provide rides to people and can do that on request. And then the other areas you get a lot of confusion is people call and they say, I need a medical trip. And they say they need to go to the doctor. And you talk about, are they on Medicaid or Medicare, what kind of trip it is. A lot of times people are not sure as to what kind of even insurance that they have, and you have to get some clarity as to which insurance they have that might be able to provide the trip. And in general, Medicare does not provide money for transportation, except in certain extreme cases. This slide really was to another audience. We actually did this presentation to a group of people who did information referral at regular, like 211 or different types of call centers. And so we actually explained to people what a regular bus is. It's a fixed route and it runs on a regular schedule. But in some communities, the fixed route is actually called the main line. And so when you're talking about transportation, people say, oh, it's at the main line. And so the main line would be the fixed route. So it's again a place where local differences in what a service is called is very important in the discussion. But when you talk about regular fixed route, you want to just let people know that the city bus is affordable, and it's something that might be useful and available to them, and that for people with disabilities and seniors there can be half-fare programs available, and that transit systems would offer bus orientation or even travel training to use the service. So somebody, if you're not comfortable with using the fixed route bus, there may be people that could help you understand how to use it or give you additional training so that you can use it with some degree of comfort. And then in a lot of rural areas, some fixed route systems actually deviate, and on call, the system will go off route and pick people up that are not directly on the fixed route. And actually, there's more route deviation service being designed and going on now than there ever has been, and that's been a service that's been very helpful for people to use the service. Here's a question I get regularly, and I have to describe to people when a lot of times people call, especially people that are recently disabled or recently come to a point where they no longer have a ride in some way. There are people that don't know that there's ADA complementary paratransit. And you have to sometimes talk to people that if there's a fixed route available, there is another service. If you can't use that fixed route, that the public entity operating the fixed route should provide the paratransit service. And sometimes you have to talk to people about what that means, and that there's a whole process to sign up for that. And what I get a lot of times, people may know of the local paratransit service, but then they would say, well, can I get a ride tomorrow? And we go through a discussion, have you applied, have you contacted them? And they go, no. And they didn't understand that there was a process of application and eligibility to use the service. And sometimes it's very important as you talk to people about ride options that they come to know their local eligibility process and kind of work through what that does entail. A lot of times people are intimidated by the fact that they have to go through eligibility. They will tell me that they filled out the paperwork, they haven't heard anything, and I have to kind of talk to them that it may take some time, that the provider has up to 21 days to make a decision, and then they may even call you in for a in-person assessment or interview to talk to you about your needs. So it's really important to let people know how ADA paratransit works. Other options, as we already talked about, there's some, we talked about the human service, medical, Medicaid. We get a lot of calls where people are confused about brokerages or multiple providers, and a lot of times people say, well, their friend takes a certain service, and what they don't understand is that that service has qualifications that maybe their friend can use it, but they might not be able to use it. And so sometimes we have to be prepared to explain those very sort of nuanced differences between providers and the programs that they operate under. And then a couple areas where I get some calls and questions, I've done some trainings on it, is the issue of bariatric transportation. And bariatric is transportation for people who are actually extremely heavy, obese people that will need specialized vehicles and equipment to travel. And these are people generally 500 pounds or more. But there are providers that provide that kind of service, and we do seem to get more calls around, what are those bariatric options. And then we get a lot of calls about long-distance transportation, where people are, a typical case would be that, say a person calls and their mother lives in one state, and one example I'm thinking of right now is the mother lived in Tennessee, but the person who was calling lived in Pennsylvania. And the person calling me wanted to know how can they get their mother, who can't fly, has a lot of severe health issues, how can they get a ride to Pennsylvania and live with them, or move into another facility nearby to them. And we had to work through like long distance operation providers and situations that could provide that trip. Service options, we'll just kind of go through some. You can always think about volunteer drivers, rural areas, that's significant, but even now, even in urban areas, volunteer drivers are very important to providing rides. A lot of times it's nonprofits, there's organized systems that can help connect volunteer drivers to people. And then there are a lot of churches that have volunteer driver programs, and I've connected people at times with local churches, especially in rural areas, where one of the community outreach programs from the church is that they provide volunteer drivers for people who contact them and have a need. The main thing about these volunteer programs a lot of times is you have your formalized, documented volunteer driver network that that people know about, but a lot of times when you start calling around, you'll find out that there's other providers and groups willing to provide some of the rides that are not quite as formalized and may not even be within the organized network as far as letting people know what service they provide. And then we don't always want to forget things like your standard typical taxis. Even in rural areas, you might have one provider, but that one taxi provider is very important in providing ride. And Carolyn, when I first made the list, said, oh, you forgot Uber and Lyft, which I did. Uber and Lyft is sort of the ride connecting program where basically what they call themselves as a company that connects people to providers and rides. And you subscribe, you use your cell phone, and you can book rides that way. It's a little bit different than taxis, but it's there, it's available, and there are a lot of people that like it and use it. And so they could be options for people too. And then private providers of all different types. Some are very costly. There are other private providers that are working within other programs, including voucher programs, where they can bring the price down, that want to provide rides. And I think Carolyn can talk to you about a few more of those herself from her example. Service options, you got to be innovative. And of course, we said the voucher programs are good because a voucher could be used with a friend, it could be used with a family member, could be used with a neighbor. It's just a way that gives someone maybe a little bit of money to help offset some of the costs of travel. We talked to volunteer drivers that provided rides for a while, but then we had people that would say, well, I volunteered for a while, but with the cost of gas, I started feeling like it was getting too expensive to volunteer, and they said they would like to have a little bit of money to kind of offset the expense. And so the volunteer drivers, kind of made a point that, a little bit of money, it could be mileage, it could be a voucher, it could be something, would help with the cost of the ride. So you got to come up with a system sometimes to help, even with your volunteer drivers, to have some incentive to offset the cost. Flex route shuttles is listed basically because there's a kind of big movement now for providers to go off route and pick up people wherever they are within a certain service area, and it's a way that you can provide rides without putting in a whole bunch of new service. So flexing, sometimes it's mileage limited, sometimes it's time limited, but vans or vehicles would go off route for a certain distance to pick people up when they call. And then there's a whole bunch of energy going on now in transportation demand management and ride share situations, where you can call one place. It could be mobility management, it could be a regional ride service, but you call somewhere and people will help you, try to link you with rides. And this is even like commuters connecting with other commuters, or sometimes people will just post that on Thursday they're going from one community to another, looking for somebody that could ride with them, and that they would be willing to help out. So there's bulletin boards in different places where people can connect with each other for rides, and you see a lot more of that now. Rural transportation is, I think, the toughest calls that I get, at least, is in the rural areas. There's movement, especially around vouchers and around volunteer drivers, but still, it's the toughest one, and a lot of times the place where you have to say sometimes, I can't find anybody to actually provide your ride. I'm one of those people that I'll keep looking. I'll call a lot of different organizations, at least trying to find a place for a person to get a ride. Sometimes I get to that point where I can't really connect someone with a ride, and it's very frustrating. But rural areas, fewer options, longer distances. If you do have some public transportation options, sometimes it's less frequency. A lot of times in rural areas you'll see basically runs that are more like commuter runs. So they run early in the morning and then they run in the evening. There's nothing really during the day. I know people that have used those for even short appointments. So they'll take an early ride in, go to their appointment for 30 minutes, and then have to wait 4 or 5 hours for their ride in the evening, and that makes it for a very long day. People in that situation a lot of times actually will call East Sales Project Action and say, hey, is there something better for me? I'm tired of waiting much of my day for a ride. And there are cases where people have told me that the transportation takes so much time and effort that each time they make a trip, they have to lose a day of work. And I've talked to people that called in desperation here and said, they're at risk of losing their job because they've missed so much time from work by taking a day off every time they go to an appointment. And we got to remember, also in rural areas, there's true reliance on families and true reliance on friends to provide a lot of the rides. But again, in the rural area, when you do that and you're using family and friends, people a lot of times would like to see sometimes a little bit of assistance to help offset the cost of providing that ride. I'm going to let Carolyn step in right here just a little bit to talk a little about some rural transportation innovations and give you a chance, Carolyn, to talk about some of these things that we have on the screen here.
Okay, thank you, Ken, and nice to be here with everyone, and certainly look forward to our conversation at the end of our presentation to hear all of our ideas and input and more information we all could use. So rural transportation, you wouldn't think we would know too much about that. The Atlanta Regional Commission is also the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and we are 18 counties. So when you consider that, we do have rural areas in this large metropolitan area. And one of those the innovations that we mentioned before that are working in urban areas are working quite well in rural areas, and that's the Transportation Voucher Program, which I believe April, and I don't know exactly what the acronym stands for, but with Project Action, helped develop the first toolkit. And we also have a toolkit that I'll reference later for anyone who's interested to look at our website. And we populated it with all of our county voucher programs and those kinds of things. These have been extremely popular because it provides empowerment to the individual to choose their transportation. And as Ken said, one of the biggest challenges though to that is for wheelchair accessible transportation and getting a ride for that person that is manageable economically. So we can discuss that a little bit later. The volunteer driver, we have the American Cancer Society is a great model. And again, we're looking also at the Independent Transportation Network, which I think many of you out in this call may know of that and may have one in your community. I think they are also looking at a rural-based Independent Transportation Network project. And then the One Call Center One Stop website, that is something that even our state DOT is looking at. We at the Atlanta region, I will tell you more about that later, but we, through a grant that we got with FTA, to look at how we bring all of our resources into one local centralized place to make it more efficient and customer service focused. And then of course, along with that is coordinated services and mobility management. And thankfully, through United We Ride and through CTAA and the way that we've been funded through New Freedom funds for the past 5 or 6 years, we have been required to do coordinated transportation. So unfortunately, fortunately that made it happen. Unfortunately, we shouldn't depend on an imperative to do that in order to get the funds. We should just be doing it anyway. So at least it was a jump start, and at our state level, we have made great strides in better coordinating services. So let's see with that, go to the next slide. And Ken, you want me to continue with this for mobility management?
Sure, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay, great. So as I said, and many of you probably have heard of this, but it's the Veterans Community Transportation Initiative, and I probably just bungled that acronym, but it is originally for the purpose of ensuring that our veterans, whether they be young veterans or older adults, that they are connected more broadly to all community services versus transportation to medical appointments or to the VA, which is what the VA transportation and mobility management has typically been about. So that was kind of an incentive to include all population in that, all HST populations. And so what that entails is to ensure you're doing active partnerships with transportation providers and bringing the ride options to customers. So again, with say for an INR professional, some travel coaching, training, being able to understand all the various resources that we have in a community and guide that person to the most appropriate ride for them, and then effectively communicate options to the public, such as the call center and the one-stop website. For us, once the website became the most, I shouldn't say easiest, but the most accessible way to start this, because a call center for at least our population of 5 million, we couldn't quite grapple with how will we fund this year to year and the uncertainty of that funding to maintain, staff and the location that needed to happen to have that call center. So let me just jump into this. Well, let's do resources first, but when we talk about the mobility management, our call center, I can give you more details. Ken, why don't you talk about the resources?
Sure. Yep. Talk about the resources. Carolyn just mentioned the Veterans One Call, One Click effort, and that's really tying veterans to rides, but also is tying anybody who needs a ride to a central place. So you call one number or you go to one website and you can book rides, and ultimately in that goal, and Carolyn talked about their process too, I think the whole goal of mobility management is to eventually get to a place where people can actually book rides and get confirmations of their rides through that one call, one click place. So, yes, I need a ride, but when I get to this website or make this call, the result is I have information that tells me I have a trip confirmed, and I know tomorrow at 10:30 I have a ride. And that's kind of the goal of that one call, one click idea. And the Veterans Program, Veterans Transportation Community Living Initiative, which I'm part of the technical assistance team, actually is a way to kind of jumpstart that whole idea and provide a little bit of money for people to start up some call centers and websites and resources to provide rides. And part of that effort really is to connect community transportation providers and resources to the one call, one click center. So it's to sign up more providers, to let people know about it, to get human service providers engaged also in thinking about providing rides. But these are resources. You can, if you have one in your area, look at the one call, one click. You may have one. East Seals Project Action. If you're ever stumped for a ride, either as a customer or as an organization, give us a call. And if you're a human service organization or transit provider and you want to try to increase your efforts to connect to a network of rides, we can kind of help you and guide you through that process and provide you with some examples or connect you with other people in your state that's doing similar things so you can develop a program that might work for people. We also operate the National Center for Senior Transportation. It's available. We work with N4A, the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging, that connects people together. We have the National Center for Mobility Management, which has taken more of a broader national view of promoting the whole notion of mobility management and developing networks that work so that people will have a place to connect to get rides, and hopefully that would happen on a national level. And then there's some other places that people can connect to rides, like the National Disability Resource Connection, ADRCs. That's another call center resource program where people can often connect to rides. Other Care Locator, another place where seniors and even other people with disabilities can call to try to find rides. And then one thing we have listed that was given to us by our colleague Donna Smith is the National Research Training Center on Blindness and Low Vision at Mississippi State University just released really an interesting guide. It's called Transportation Guide for Employees Who Are Blind or Have Low Vision, that kind of talks about a lot of things we have in this presentation, but talks about options and looking at options for rides and ways of connecting to local providers and how those might work. Other resources, 211s. I've been working around the 211s the last few years and trying to get a sense to how do they. 211 is a national system where you call just one number and connects you to services in your area. It's almost nationally available. I think it's 93% of the country is within a 211 area where you can call that. But what we find basically, 211s are all operated differently. Some have spend a lot of time on finding transportation resources. Some have transportation specialists within the 211. But in some cases, 211 is the transportation resources is a list of providers. And so what I've been working with some of the smaller 211s is to have them think about, who's in their provider database and how much knowledge do their call takers have about the types of services being offered, and also the whole family of services being offered within the community. And then other options we have here, then if you're kind of stumped and you want to work with, or you can contact your agency on agency, your centers for independent living. A lot of times there are people there that specialize in transportation. I know a center for independent living that I was visiting one time where they said, yes, we have public transportation, but in rural areas we have two guys that have vans, and at times they will go out and pick people up and provide the rides for the people, and they're volunteers for the Center for Independent Living. So then you can look at any kind of other nonprofits and human service agencies that may provide rides. And I've listed some community action agencies run transportation programs and even run the local public transit system. There's some faith-based networks, Easter Seals, of course, and then also some states now have transportation call center and ride finding services that you can call, and keep those in mind, because many of those are actually very effective helping people find rides. And then finally, don't forget your local transit providers. I've found that they're very helpful most times is trying to get people connected to some kind of rides, and even look for resources beyond the services they provide. All right, Carolyn.
Okay, I'll take it away again. Thanks, Ken. So just wanted to kind of zero in just for a moment on the Atlanta region, and most of you are probably wondering, why would Atlanta be talking about transportation coordination? We've been ranked pretty in the low rankings of access to transit nationwide, and yes, we are a very sprawling region. And so when we first started, to give you a little background, we started the Lifelong Communities Initiative to really bring to light that our region was not prepared for the increasing older population, which also would mean probably increasing persons with disabilities, and then also those that wouldn't be able to drive their own personal vehicle. So with that kind of as a basis, I think we really were able to get a lot of attention, a lot of people on board to really look at the way we have built our communities in the region and what we need to do differently. And so in the past 5 years, we have been successful in bringing to the table some of these partners that are listed here, and many others. I just provided a few. We are very fortunate to have the Region 4 FTA office here as resource for us, and our Georgia Department of Transportation is also headquartered in Atlanta. And so we obviously have a lot of good resources to bring to the table. One of the problems or challenges we face, it might be in your community, your area, but I doubt it's as complex as ours, unfortunately. We are 10 counties, so we have 3 different transit agencies, which alone is a complicated type of thing. And some areas of our region have absolutely no public transit whatsoever. It's hard to believe, but there are a few outliers who, for whatever reason, do not. And that's one of the counties that has the fastest growing older adult population. And the Senior Services Division there has become the de facto transportation provider through some funding and programs. So all that to say is we've had to work really hard to partner and to find funding through innovative kinds of ways. New Freedom money has definitely allowed us to do that with pilots and programs to show that they're working, they're successful. The photo here is of a woman who said this is the best thing that happened to her since she moved to Atlanta, and that was our Georgia Department of Human Services saying with 5310, let's try something different. Let's look at a shuttle, local shuttle, similar to what Ken was saying about Flex Route, kind of paratransit service that goes a little bit off, deviates from the typical route. This particular route was designed by seniors for seniors, and it's where they need to go. So unlike that we call it MARTA, but the fixed route bus that is going on a route that is timed and it's going to a certain place because it's engineered efficiently, it may not be going where older adults need to go. So this was really a great innovation, and we have 3 of those operating in DeKalb County right now. And so then beyond that, as Ken was saying, we have how many 80 different options, or I should say agencies providing transportation, and it becomes very complex, as you all know. So with our opportunity to pursue a centralized area, or one-click as we call it, website, to compile all this information, all the resources into one place, we hope that it will be much more customer focused, because they don't care what is what, who has to do this funding and whatever, like the requirement except their eligibility. They just want to ride. So this is all. So we need to put all that stuff behind the scenes, and they don't have to see that. They just need to get a ride most efficiently. So kind of the layout of this is to look at it as someone who must take other options in the personal vehicle because of their ability or disability, or some are choice riders. They want to not use their car for what, maybe it's too expensive, whatever the reason is. Then to find their options, and whether that be the existing available options that we have in the region. And then really at the end of the day, each those 2 different individuals, whether it be choice or they really need to they can't use their own personal vehicle to get where they need to go, it really does become a comparison factor, because everyone really chooses things based on the time it will take, the accessibility to that type of ride and that choice, and the money factor, which is what we've talked about. Similar to when you want to book a trip with an airline, you want to see all your choices and you want to make a decision. And is it the time, do you have any layovers? Well, I don't want an 8-hour trip. I want a 2-hour direct flight, that kind of thing. So and the kind of the background structure of this to make all that happen is, for now, we're pursuing a decentralized, the calls will come in, same as they always have. They are Independent Living Center, Disability Link. They're our partner for beta testing this. Their client, their customer will call in. They need a ride. That staff person has the connection to the one-click, the website. In fact, that particular customer may allow that case manager to have their credentials or information so that they can seamlessly help them. All that information is plugged in, and then if they have a new trip that they need to take, they don't have to re-enter all that information. It's already done for them. And so they can look at those options and help guide them, kind of a first step of trip coaching. So that would happen through each individual agency, whether it be a senior center, the Disability Link, or whatever agency that it is that the call is coming through. And so the next part is this, which I think is a real, really good win for us, or help to everyone that would be using this, is that once beyond, you're providing your destination origin information, just typically like a Google Trip Planner, we also will have another drop-down menu if you need more assistance. So if you, for example, an eligibility requirement, specialized transportation, so that would help populate your particular eligibility for paratransit or for a specialized service. You're for a veteran, or if you are eligible for Medicaid. So it would pop all those up for you. And of course, we do have to ensure that that person knows that that does not mean that you can get the ride that day. If you are eligible for paratransit, you have to sign up for paratransit. So there's going to be some information and instructional kinds of things as well, so that person can understand all the processes it takes to get that ride. But again, it will show you, similar to a kind of an Expedia or whatever you use to say book an airline ticket, the time frame of your trip, how long it's going to take you, the cost factor. So I think it's really interesting too. A lot of us will say, well, that taxi is going to take a lot more. It's going to take a lot more money, but it's going to save me a lot of time. So you kind of have to weigh those options, and that gives that person choice and empowerment. And then after you have planned your trip, you will be provided actually your route and your scheduling. Then you can also plan your return trip. And it might be a whole completely different route or way or mode of transportation to return, and then it will map it for you. And we also have an enhanced version for smartphones, mobile phones that you can take with you. We don't have an app for that yet. We hope to have that, but right now it's in the enhanced website version. So that kind of in a nutshell is for us a huge change in how we're going to deliver and provide all these complex, these social service transportation and human service transportation along with transit in our very complex 10-county area. I think it's going to be a very exciting time for us. I'm happy to answer any more questions you have on that. Okay. Ken, take it back to you.
Okay. Yep, and we're really at the point now we're open for your questions. And so I guess we're ready to take on some questions.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Carolyn and Ken, for that great presentation. Anyone that would like to ask a question, you can either do so over the phone or in the chat room. To ask a question over the phone, you press star and then 1 on your touch-tone phone, and you'll be put in a question queue. And if you want to chat it into the put it into the chat box rather, please feel free to do so, and we'll be monitoring both. So go ahead and feel free to call in, and while we're waiting for the phone queue to build up, we can take a look and see if we have anything in the chat. This is one for you, Carolyn. Participant named Donna is asking on the chat window, is Atlanta Moves Me currently available?
I'm sorry, Chris, would you say that again?
Yes, it's a question asking if Atlanta Moves, and Moves is in all capitals, Me is currently available.
Oh, okay, that was our name. Yes, sorry. That was our, that's kind of our mock-up screen. I don't know if it's actually, yeah, I probably went too fast at the end there, but we are looking to have this launched in October. So no, it is not actually online yet, but we are looking to have also a mobility management summit at the same time and launch our website for the first time, and we have a smaller grant that's going to help us go out into the community using our retired volunteer program, RSVP, that we will be training older adults or whoever would like to participate in the website training and understanding how it operates. And we also have, we'll have it in several languages. We also will have it in disability, the kind of ADA accessible versions. We're testing that. So we really want to make this as easy to use as possible, and to help provide training along with it. So yes, that will all start happening in the fall of this year.
Great, thank you. We do have 2 questions on the phone right now, so Stephanie, would you mind patching those in?
Your first question comes from the line of Kim.
Hi, excuse me, hi. This is Kim at Pierce Transit in Tacoma. I'm really enjoying your webinar, by the way. One of the things I wanted, we're not utilizing partners and regional resources as well as we could be. Do you already have matrices put together in different regions that you utilize for different areas that you're aware of that you could help local agencies transit into for their area?
Dan, is that a question for you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about what do we have. I mean, we know in some areas, and we know some things in Washington State, but I don't know if it's a real matrix. It's maybe a little bit more informal. I guess
King County has a lot of options available. Pierce County, we're kind of struggling along. So
okay,
yeah.
So we may want to kind of help work with you on trying to put something together.
Tim Renfro is my boss, and he is he's a guru here locally for coordinated transportation. But I'm asking, mainly for myself to see if there's any. Do you have any fast places? Like I went online to the Cancer Society. We get a lot of cancer patients, and I'm going to try to tap into that. But the problem is again, a lot of those services are in Seattle, and they are not going to probably come out to Tacoma to pick people up for Seattle cancer treatments. I don't really know how their program works, but I'm going to make that call and see what happens. But those are the kinds of things I'm wondering about, if you know what's out there.
You alluded the Area Agency on Aging. Do you have? Yes. Tim's
coordinated. He's coordinated transportation, so he is tapped into all of that. I just wondered if there's some things that you have become aware of that may not have hit.
I'm happy to share,
my radar.
And I personally am happy to share, what we have that may or may not help you, but certainly can, maybe stimulate your thinking, like, oh, I didn't think about that kind of thing.
Well, one of our big issues is that this is not our only big issue, but we're getting killed by dialysis. We're getting killed by Medicaid dumping, and we're getting killed with things like the skilled nursing centers, the adult day family homes, the adult day health agencies, both for the daycare and for the living centers. Getting transportation, and we know that there's a stipend that they're getting through the Medicaid broker, and we're getting dumped on but not able to access those funds. And some of these people are very clearly really not even appropriate for ADA paratransit service because, they have a tendency to wander. They have a condition where they might wander off. They might, what I'm saying? Yeah, so there's some that are questionable whether they really should be on a paratransit service and not on a more medical necessity type service.
Right. I'm glad to share anything, if you would like to contact me, and I can get your email, and I can exchange information.
Oh, sure, that would be great. Sure. That would be great. And one more question. Your Atlanta program, you said something about a summit. What kind of summit are you?
Well, we have had summits in the past. One was, we called it Worst to First. It was when the Smart Growth America came out with, or Transportation for America came out with a report that Atlanta ranked at the bottom for access to transit for its size. And so we wanted to show the region that we were moving the needle, albeit slowly, but we were moving the needle, and here's what we're doing. We brought in national speakers. We had Virginia Dice of the Senior Transportation Group, and by the way, CTAA, I think we had Dale Marsico, I believe, came also. So we wanted to kind of broaden our reach with our region so that so people knew there was beyond us, there were these national issues, and there was also resources available. And kind of fire people up to change kind of their thinking and get excited about our program. So that's kind of the same vein. But this time we want to focus on mobility management and have people really understand what we're talking about when we say that, because it means a lot of different things, and you can certainly interpret it as you want to, but definitely a customer focus.
I liked Ken's definition he gave just on as part of his presentation, saying connecting people to rides. I liked that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Anthony.
Hi, this is Anthony Johnson at the Partnership TMA outside Philadelphia. And I was wondering, Ken and Carolyn, you both talked about voucher programs and how they've been used to offset volunteer driver costs. Would you be able to walk us through that or point us to some case studies that we can follow up on?
Okay, sure. So at the end of the presentation, I think there's one more slide, there will be my information, contact information, and then a web link to our voucher web page, our toolkit. So you can see some of our programs we have through our counties and through our nonprofits. And how we funded these, I'm sure many people use the same funding, but it's New Freedom money. Of course, now it's going to be 5310, kind of New Freedom type programs for 5310 money. And it was kind of seed money we tried some out in a naturally occurring retirement community about 6 years ago and tested the model, and it seemed to work really, really well. And what it is, it's some funds that you can either do a cost share with. So say your eligible person would pay $10 up to say $20 to get $100 worth of vouchers. And they come in these coupons. And ideally we would like to transfer this to a paperless kind of system because the admin part of this is becoming a little too cumbersome as it gets more popular. But that person then, arranges their ride through a list of eligible drivers, or they enlist their neighbor who maybe has been their volunteer driver just for all these years, and that person feels like I really can't ask them one more time to give me a ride. I feel badly about this. They come in and they sign up to be a driver, and they provide their insurance and proof of their driver's license and that kind of thing. And then that person then can choose them to, and they negotiate their ride and their cost. So basically, it's instead of having that demand response vehicle, and then you must go here and here at this particular time, instead of that expense and that funding, you take that funding out of there and you put it in a different format, and it's called vouchers. And then that person has more control over their lives. They need to go at 7 p.m. They can do that. If there's a driver available, that's when they can get the ride, and that's when they want to go. So it's been popular that way. And someone mentioned dialysis. I want to quickly say that actually we are finding that those who are taking or needing dialysis prefer this voucher model over, say, even paratransit, which could get them there too. The voucher also provides a relationship, and it builds social capital, because more than just a ride, it is a personal relationship, and that person helps them or they wait for them while they're getting their dialysis. So we like to look at it, it's the tangible and the intangible benefits. I hope that helps. But certainly go to our website and I can answer any more technical questions you'd like.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Your next question comes from the line of Jana.
Hi, this is Jana. I'm calling from rural Massachusetts. And I have a couple questions that I think directed at Ken, but I'd really like to hear anybody's input. First of all, Ken, when you were talking and if an individual were to call you, you said you connect them with an organization or a ride option. And we're a fledgling call center. So this is more of a procedural question. When you do that, are you just referring them, giving them a phone number, or do you actually stay on the line and help them talk through their questions?
Well, what I do, I even before I hand them off or give them a phone number, I try to kind of talk through their needs. So you really want to spend time with the person and find out what their trip needs really are, and kind of clarify where they need to go, what kind of transportation they need, what ability do they have to pay, do they have Medicaid or any other, if it's a Medicaid appointment, and try to get as much detail as possible.
Right.
And because a lot of the times people would just say they need to ride. And a lot of times it takes a little bit of work to try to find out what the requirements of that ride are. A lot of times people say they have a disability and they need a ride, et cetera, but in discussion you can find out that, they're really ambulatory and they could ride in a sedan. And you don't know that at the beginning. So. Right.
But I'm thinking at the other end. So, you have your information, your database, whatever you're drawing from for the local community. So you are going to reach out to a church group or, someplace that that, this might resolve the issue. When you do that, are you simply giving the caller the information, or are you three-waying a call and helping them through that question?
Right, and I have
sometimes do that and sometimes don't. And I'm just trying to.
I've done that only a few times. It's what we call warm handoff, or you kind of put the person on the line. And usually when you think you're going to lose them, or you know that you don't really feel confident that they're going to follow up, you may do that.
Right.
But usually what I try to do, if I got a resource, I try to verify that that resource exists and would be the proper resource for the person. And so that when the person calls the resource I'm giving them, that they already know the person's going to be calling. So it's kind of set up ahead.
Okay. All right. And and then I had one other question probably for both of you. So how do you get the word out if you're, we really are a de facto call center who is becoming the call center for the region that we're in. And we seem to, things fluctuate. At certain times it seems like everybody knows about us and what we do. And then at other times, we go through these periods of like, oh, we never knew you existed, or we didn't know that you would deal with this. And is there a way to kind of consistently message the community on some kind of a base? I don't know how you get that word out and keep it.
It's a challenge. I agree.
Yeah.
I can say something, but Ken, if you want to go ahead, you may know more around the country.
Oh no, I know people promote, they advertise, they get the word out, they go to any place people congregate and really give out a lot of literature too. I mean, it's an expense, but people will take literature and they, I know people say, well, I had the phone number on my refrigerator, that's why I called.
Right.
But you got to remind people that you exist and that you provide that service. And,
right.
When you're talking, it reminds me of, they might even be on this call, but Ride Connection in Portland, Oregon, really, gets the message out that they're available to connect people, and that's, I still think that's the way you do that. So.
It's a challenge. We have something called Age-Wise Connection, or I should say something. It's our database called Age-Wise Connection, and it is our portal for the Area Agency on Aging and our Aging and Disability Resource Connection. And we also are statewide with our database. Just in the 10-county region, we get about 70,000 calls a year.
Wow.
And some days it could be 400 calls, or some days it could be a little bit less. But again, though, then you can go out to a community group and have a conversation with them to think part of it. So it is always a challenge, but as much as possible, I think to have this consistent message, and perhaps when you develop some partnerships, say with your state DOT or whoever it is, it would also be interfacing with some of these special service agencies, that they know that's who you are, and they should call you for access to information on transportation.
Okay, one quick comment, and then I'll stop hogging the line. For the caller that is listening from Washington State and spoke a little bit about the question about whether people actually should be on a paratransit vehicle, or the nature of their ability, maybe they should be on something that has a little bit better service, a little bit more personal service, or a little bit more help from someone maybe with medical training. We worked here at Berkshire Ride, we worked with our local RTA on a 3-year project to update all of their ADA eligibility information and process. And we developed an eligibility letter that had, if someone was found eligible, they were eligible. If it looked like their ability, it would be very, very difficult or almost not safe for them to be transported on a regular ADA paratransit vehicle. We included some information that made them eligible, but we reminded them of what the limitations were and suggested that they may want to be sure they took someone with them. You can't tell them they have to, but we kind of encouraged them to consider their own ability before they got on that vehicle by themselves.
Okay, that's a great idea. Thank you.
So that's at least it brings to the individual's attention that they might not get the level of service that's safe for them.
Exactly. That's helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star and the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Right, and while we wait to see if anyone else would like to call in, we did have a number of interesting questions on the chat, so I'll just read a couple of them out here and give Ken and Carolyn an opportunity to answer. Let's see, here's one from Michael. Are you aware of any coordination done with the Social Security Administration and/or voc rehab entities, including employment networks, for providing transportation on a regular basis to encourage employment of individuals with disabilities?
I can help, but Ken, do you have something?
No, the only thing I'm thinking about, I know that some places are talking to people about using the PASS program, where some of your transportation expenses can be kind of recovered through your Social Security. So when you do work, it doesn't kind of go against your income, and that helps people pay for it.
I'd like to know more about that. That's good information. This is Carolyn. So I was just going to jump in and say that we also have been managing the JART grants, the Job Access Reverse Commute for the region, and in addition to say the typical routes that a fixed route would have, which would be called a JART route, mainly because they are serving people of low income concentration areas, geographic areas. We also have had some innovative programs, and one of them was with our Center for Pan-Asian Community, and I'm going to get to your disability question. This is more for limited English populations. And they were able to also initiate a work shuttle, which in that particular community concentrated a group that were similar, going to similar places. So it doesn't work for every community, but this just happened to be one that did. And then training drivers out of the community to drive the shuttle and that kind of thing. So that has been very successful. And travel training, we maybe not mentioned that, but our Cobb County got a grant, New Freedom Grant, to do travel training for persons with disabilities to ride their new Flex Fixed route, which is serving persons with disabilities and low income. And our voc rehab here in the Atlanta region, we have been working with closely as far as transportation for persons with disabilities and vocational and employment. We unfortunately we did have a program that was funded by JARC, but it wasn't as successful as we'd like. But it was a good premise. It was helping people get that first mile, last mile connection so that they can get to a transit station. They might live too far away to walk or to safely get there, but it was providing a way, extra transportation. So I don't know if that helped or not, but there are some innovative things out there, and certainly we could investigate more of those.
Thanks, Carolyn. And we have a caller on the line now with a question.
We have a question from Sarah.
Hi, this is Sarah Chung from TransLink in Vancouver, BC. This is for Carolyn and Ken. We're interested in solving a style and mobility management, but one of the issues that we've come up against is things about assured safety and service standards, particularly for volunteer drivers and taxis. And I'm wondering if you've had to come up against that issue and how you might have addressed it.
That's a great question. And I'll just answer real quickly. So it's a complicated question, or I should say an answer, but it's too complicated probably to respond right here. Sometimes it depends on your funding source, and additionally, the agency's comfort level of liability. But overall, the research that we've done, it seems to be that as long as your agency has an umbrella policy and that individual, that volunteer driver, has their own vehicle insurance that covers persons riding in their car, that really is sufficient. Now they also, if they would like, the volunteer driver could increase their policy if they're going to be doing this on a regular basis. But I learned actually from the CTA conference, the Community Transportation Association of America's mobility conference 2 years ago, that it really is better to be very upfront and have a training program for your volunteers. I think there's some good models there. I'm trying to think, is it called PASS? I believe so, and some others. But driver safety training, what would happen in an emergency, that kind of thing, which really reduces your liability instead of increases your liability. We have had not conflicts, but questions back and forth of whether it's better to have less touch to kind of remove yourself from being directly liable, like say as the Atlanta Regional Commission, versus a high touch where you're actually training your volunteers. But I've heard that now from experts that it's better to do a training program. If that really makes sense, I know that was a complex answer, sorry. But it's quite the one that is the barrier that hits a lot of people.
Great, thank you.
Your next question comes from Lori.
Yes, thank you. This is Lori Hill from Corpus Christi, Texas. I was kind of curious about the service options with Lyft and Uber. They recently were made a presence here in Corpus Christi, but there have been some regulatory difficulties with our city council, considering they felt like they were taxi services and they didn't comply with taxis, and so our city has initiated fines. And I'm wondering, is that very common with other places?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of address that one because I've been talking to different groups and different communities about Uber and Lyft. And one call I got last week actually was somebody who called and said, what is the feeling, what's being done nationally about how do we address those regulatory issues? And I said, well, right now I think there are people looking at it. No one's addressed it. The issue is around the fact that Uber and Lyft basically market themselves as a technology organization that connects people to rides through their app. You get a phone app, from Uber and Lyft. You join as a member, you get an app. Then through that app you can book rides. The app and through the booking system that Uber or Lyft has connects you with a driver who's within the system to give you the ride. And what both of them say is that, well, we're not actually a cab company. We're just actually a software, a technology that connects people to rides. And so they feel like not being a taxi, we don't have to meet all the taxi rules. And so that's where you're getting in these issues around with local cab commissions, other kinds of entities questioning, what are they doing? There's not, from what I understand, there's not always as strict regulatory requirements on the drivers that are within the network. So they're not all cab drivers with certain level of training. Even though cab companies may opt in to be part of that service. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, let me say that. And that people are wondering, are the drivers qualified? Do they have the levels of insurance? There's that whole issue of independent operators, where each Uber and Lyft driver says they're an independent operator. So Uber and Lyft drivers don't have to meet any kind of requirements. And so they're still being fought out in court. So I think we're going to hear more. I can't answer definitively, what are the questions and fears. I can tell you is how do they present themselves when they're asked these questions about regulations. So some people like the service. Some people use it all the time. It is an option. But I can't say too much more than about the regulatory stuff because I think it's still being fought out. We had the case in San Francisco where a pedestrian was hit by a car from, I don't even know, it was Uber or Lyft, one of them, and there was a level of insurance question, and so that's something I think we're going to hear more about. So hopefully I've given you a little background, but I can't really answer it precisely.
Yeah, I think the jury's out, but we've even heard from, and maybe I shouldn't say this on a national call, but the taxi industry really needs to change and change quickly. because I think we're seeing the results that people want something different than what they're being offered, and it may not be their fault. Actually, it's becoming more bureaucratic, weighing down of their business model. So they need to discuss that among themselves and change, so that they can be more responsive to customer needs. And I think that's where this is going, is responsiveness to what the customer wants.
And then the other question we get about Uber and Lyft a lot of times is, should Uber and Lyft be required to provide a certain number of accessible vehicles if they operate in any community? And I think that's going to be a question for the future as I think jurisdictions adapt their local codes and policies, for these private operators. It may be something that would say, locally, if you're going to operate in my town, you will provide accessible vehicles. So I think we're going to just hear more on that.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for the phone line right now. We do have some questions from the chat window, and we have a few minutes left, so I'll throw a few more out there. We've got a couple basic questions on vouchers and how they work. So say, for instance, if you have a voucher that's been provided by a Center for Independent Living and being managed by that entity, how does one use that to pay into this transportation system?
Okay, this is Carolyn. I'll answer that. Ours is Disability Link, and they are serving probably about 10 counties. There's some outside of our 10-county region that they're serving. And how it's been working is that their clients or individuals call in, and the whole premise, of course, is for those, say, coming out of a nursing home, or that they get precedence over anyone else, because that's their mission, is to ensure that that person has the tools and the services they need to remain independent and live independently in their community. And transportation is always one of those areas. And so it's been working really well. I will say that there has been some barriers of the cost, and that's what Ken alluded to several times, is that when you do use a voucher and you have a limited, or say you're in a voucher system, which you only have a certain amount to give out to everyone because you have been given this funding through, say, New Freedom, and you have to match that money. So say if an agency got $50,000 to run this voucher program, they have to provide $50,000 match. And so that kind of limits you right there, is how much you can get that match, right? So you've got $100,000 and you have a waiting list of 100 people. So you definitely have to be very, very economical about it and give out as many as you can. And those that have chronic conditions usually get more per quarter, for example. It also requires that a mobility manager or the voucher administrator continues to call that person if, say, they see that they're not using their vouchers. They need to use them within a 3-month period, or else kind of use them or lose them, and why they're not using them, and then if not, someone else can use them. But one of the things is, I think people want to hold on to them, in case they need them or have an emergency situation. But unfortunately, like I said, it's really the distance, especially in our counties that are more rural, the distance traveled, and then the cost factor of that accessible ride could be like $100 or could be $50 or each way, and that's used up a good portion of your whole portion that you're going to have for 3 months. So yes, we are working on that, and we're looking actually at the accessible cab issue, where we would like to see more accessible cabs in the Atlanta region that provides people with that more options than the private provider. So that's one way our Silk is using them. But it's gone really, really well. And just to let you know too, he's been very proactive about going and speaking to county officials and others to let them know about this program, in hopes that they will continue to sustain it and fund it.
And I just want to add too that in Wyoming, Wyoming has a statewide Center for Independent Living system, and the state actually offers the state Center for Independent Living system offers a voucher program. So it's statewide, administered by the Centers for Independent Living. getting vouchers. There are some limits on the vouchers, but and it's always an issue. You only have so much money, but it's an interesting service to get rides to rural areas. So people get so many vouchers for a certain price, and then I think it's limited as to how many you can use, based on the amount of money per person. But actually, we'll provide some links, I think, for vouchers. I was thinking to people that they could get information.
And I want to jump in too that New Freedom allows for a person to use that voucher for paratransit. So that does become a much more affordable. Where available, they can use it for paratransit for their local system.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have one more question on the phone here.
Okay.
Stephanie, could you patch that one through, please?
We have a call from Kim.
Thanks.
Just on the topic you were just discussing, can the match, can that be in other forms such as providing vehicles or call center or those kinds of matches? Can it be like in-kind matches, or does it have to be a cash match?
For us, it's been in-kind. It can be in-kind, and it also can be other grants or funds as long as it's not Department of Transportation.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just got a minute or two left. So, Carolyn, while we have you on the line, there are a couple questions that are specific to what you were presenting on. First one is, when customers use the Atlanta Moves Me website, can they book a trip directly from the site, or do they have to contact that service provider directly?
We wish. We're not there yet. That is our goal. This is the first phase. No, that person will have to book that trip through that particular provider. But again, at least the first phase, the first step of that it has been done, where the provider is linked into the same website and they know exactly the trip you want, and it is a more easy kind of process. But yes, we want to get there. The behind the scenes part of that, of course, is building the relationships and the partnerships and the memorandum of understanding of how we can share resources to be able to book that kind of trip, and to have more seamless fare options and that kind of thing. So we have a little more work to do on that. So we're going to get there.
Great. And last thing for you is there's a question asking if the software program that was developed for Atlanta can be shared with other areas so they can customize it with their local service providers.
Yes. And I am not actually the project manager on this, and Janae Futrell has been, and I can also lead you to her for any technical questions. But the other part of this that is exciting is that it is an open platform. I don't know exactly all what it means, but it does mean that, say, even someone that wants to build an app around it can utilize it and use the software and the system. And the other is it's open source data, or real-time data, so that it's real-time bus information is connected to our data warehouse. So I'm giving you a little of that technical stuff, but I don't know too much beyond that. I'm happy to connect you with Janae to give you more details.
All right. Well, thank you, Carolyn. We'd appreciate that.
All right. Well, Sarah, it's real quick. I wanted just to follow up. Someone named Sarah was on the phone, and she asked about the insurance and volunteer driver. I believe that's what her name was, and she was from British Columbia. But the organization I'm thinking of for insurance questions like that is called CIMA, C-I-M-A, and it's William Henry, and he is very knowledgeable on that subject. So I just wanted to let our listeners know about that.
Great. Thank you, Carolyn. So at this time, we're showing 3:30 Eastern, so that's the end of our call. Thank you, everyone, for your great questions. That was really interesting. If we didn't get a chance to get to any of them, we have been marking down all the ones in the webinar room, and we'll be responding to you. And you can also ask your questions to webinars@easterseals.com, and we'll be sure to get you an answer. Again, that's webinars@easterseals.com. And if you email your question there, we'll be happy to provide you with an answer. Before we close out, I just wanted to invite Carolyn and Ken to make any closing remarks if they have any.
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody for being on the call, and this is kind of, finding a ride. I used to do a little discussion on how you actually find a ride, but now we have resources. We have the whole concept of mobility management. We have some regional call centers like Carolyn talked about. So we have other tools that we can use to help people find rides. And what I'd really like to have us all kind of think about is how can we all work together with our providers and our communities and kind of get everybody together to have that discussion as to who has resources out there that can provide the rides, and then how can we connect people to the rides that we have. And so the whole point of this is really to get us all thinking in that direction.
I would second that. Thank you, Ken, and thank you for inviting me to participate. And I really enjoyed hearing the questions and all the good work that's going on out there, and look forward to more sharing, information sharing. I also wanted to mention one more group is the Administration on Community Living, ACL, and they have a special initiative called Inclusionary Transportation Planning that's inclusionary, and to really make sure we are including persons with disabilities, older adults, and have them at the table for any major transportation planning processes. So I just wanted to also share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Ken, for your presentation. On the screen here, we have Carolyn's contact information and also the link to the voucher toolkit that was mentioned. That link is also available on our website. And at this time, I also want to let everyone know that we're going to be having a survey evaluation for the session today. I'll be sending that out over email as soon as we get off the line here, but it's also on your screen. If you can just take a moment to fill it out, it should only take you a couple minutes, and we really value your feedback as we shape our future sessions. So thank you in advance for filling that out. Also, just as a reminder, if we were not able to get to any of your questions today, please feel free to email them to webinars@easterseals.com, or alternatively, you can give us a call at 800-659-6428. Again, that's 1-800-659-6428, and a member of the Training and Technical Assistance team here at Project Action will be happy to take your questions. Thank you again to the presenters. That was a really great and interesting presentation. I think we all learned a lot. I also want to thank our friends over at Better World and our operator, Stephanie. Also thank our captioner for the great job today, and invite you to watch our website, projectaction.org, and your email for future Easter Seals Project Action events. Most importantly, I want to take a moment to thank you for your commitment to increasing and improving accessible transportation in your community. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.